your foreign friends. Say something. Please. Community Service Award for this great institution.
All right. We are raising our hands up today and forevermore because we give praise to the Most High. When we raise our hands, when we put our palms up, we give praises to the Most High. Nothing else and nothing more. I want to thank you all for being here. We've got Artists for Change meeting out in the lobby. We have Hands Up for Production reading on the other side, and we've got ARNA in this space. It is a part of the legacy of Dr. Barbara Antier to bring us together so that we can be informed and take action in the communities in which we live, work, and serve. And when we do that and we come together, we manifest what we call family. So I want to thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Everyone here for utilizing this facility. More importantly, resonating the frequency that you resonate. Because I feel the love, I feel the search for the truth of who we are, and I know that we can get closer and closer each time we meet here, so that when people walk in, they say, damn, what goes on here? Come on. You know, and something happens to their molecular structure just by the fact that we're here meeting every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday. It's like church.
Come on.
You feel me?
Come on. Yes, sir, brother.
Thank you so much.
Our next award, we don't even have to introduce this brother. This is our eldership award. And I gave this award because I am so humbled that I can sit in a room all the way back to Cecil B. Moore in North Philly in the hood, beyond hood. And this brother, who's been all over the planet, he might be in China, Turkey, Brazil, talking to world leaders, doing concerts and all kind of other things, but he takes his time to support the young brothers and sisters who meet here every Monday, every Wednesday. He did it at the gangs in the Bronx. He's the father and founder of hip-hop. And this is to the elder in the community who displays and executes the message of work of unity, empowering the younger leadership, calling the younger leadership by example, and guiding and overcoming the obstacles associated with unity. It could be no more a great example of the human nation. Now, great after that knowledge.
Peace. Peace. Hotep. First giving honor to the great supreme force to whom we call Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, Jah, Anu, or the ancient name Atum Amarah.
Come on.
I'd like to ask my elders, can I have permission to speak?
Yes, sir.
I don't care what type of troubles we have, what type of problems we have, we must always stand as a people, giving honors to all the greats that came before us, giving honors to this great that is here now, that has been trying to wake up our people, the masses of our people who are blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of themselves and others. This is what we learn here in the International Indigenous Society of Sovereigns in honor the Aboriginal Republic of North America. And not just North America, but in the earth in every part where we go. See, there's a lot of problems in our streets. And y'all are the key to try to wake up the masses of our people, our brothers and sisters, the brothers and sisters in jail, the brothers and sisters who keep listening to tell lies and vision, who keep going to movies to get tricked with technology. This is where honor comes in. We must give honor to self, honor to your mothers, honor to your fathers, sisters and brothers. This is wake up time, organized time, true time, bacteriology time. This is unity time. We can't come here as a church sitting around doing nothing. We must get up and do something. And this is where we give the honor to all our new staff, our members. We honor you, we honor you, we honor you, we honor you, we honor you. And and we honor each other here. So with that, we pull up our fists and we say organize. 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 Give an honor.
We actually have, this is supposed to be two, but we'll just call those people out. This award is the most dedicated national. We have two people who have this award. And to the national or nationals in the community who displays and executes the message of teamwork and unity and who assists the group in accomplishing their objectives and class, family, and the vision for the nation. We have Brother Asim El Bey and Brother Jawad Abdul-Aziz.
Wow, wasn't expecting this. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. All I can say, I appreciate the love that I received coming here, and my mentor, Joel.
Yes, sir.
He helped change my life in many ways. My dad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take your time, brother. Take your time, God.
And my second mentor, Chief. Sorry, give me a second.
Go ahead.
Time, God.
Take your
That's
time.
what we're here for.
You know, those napkins cost.
I've been here since 2008. I was having situations, and I slipped away from the nation for a while. Came back in 12, 13, and I seen the struggle that my people was having, period, not just the nation, but all over. And I couldn't stand back and let that happen. You know, a lot of people put a lot of trust in me, and I'm not a person that like to fail people. So I came back, and well, I can't say came back. I just reappeared, and put in that work, and try to help everybody I can, and possibly I can, including myself. And I've been honored when Chief appointed me as the protocol minister. And I'm not ready to let him down. So, peace, man.
Amazing.
You know you say that.
Again. I thank Ali Muhammad for this award, along with my singing. Like I said, coming to ARNA, didn't know much about cosmology, astrology, or anything like that, so I was always quiet, reserved, never said much. So then I... No, true story. I've always been. And my son Omari is the same way now. So then Chief kept on his trials. He kept saying Gemini's our communicators. Wow, you gotta start talking a little bit more. Because I never was one to talk, I just let my actions speak. So like I said before, I'm honored that he did a reading on me and he says, wow, you got to be a communicator, that's what Geminis do. And even I am the local chief minister in Cherokee in Washington, D.C., along with Master Mayor Mansour. You know, again, he doesn't do much talking. I have to do the talking. So I guess that's a part of me that I didn't know that I had to do, was to be a communicator and to try to bring folks together. So as we sit here in this space today, I see a lot of young people. My young brother Victor, I've always talked to you. You know how they say you can't score from the bench. Come on, you got to get in the game. So I press upon you, all you young people. You know, go to governmentreparation.org and learn about ARNA. Or come here every Monday. Don't just come by yourself. Bring someone. If you don't have the funds to get in, it beats like that sometimes. We do understand. So just keep coming, share the information, because all this of who we are and where we're going, it all falls on you all. And definitely we're not gonna let it fall on you. We're just gonna pass it on to you. We're gonna share it to you. So we hope that you share other young people and galvanize this great union, the Aboriginal Republic of North America. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Give me that little one. I gotta give you yours. All right. So the idea we had tonight was to do a panel discussion and to allow you to ask any question that you want to ask. Any kind of question. You can ask, okay, what is the culture in ARNA? How do y'all eat? How do y'all do this? How do y'all? What's the protocol on? How do you get married? What's the difference? Why are you doing nationality documents? What's the purpose of that? Is Obama going to dump a bomb on ARNA? What is going on? I'm afraid. I don't want to do nothing that has something to do with folks that looks like it's outside of the United States government. I think that we can answer those questions and make them very clear. You can ask about positions. Why did you take that position? What's your background? What's your experience? Anything that you want to ask. The idea that we had tonight is to share with our people that this is a potential great opportunity for our people at this time. It's a great opportunity. I remember when I first came into any level of consciousness, I was at Temple University. I was a football player, and somebody brought me the book, ISIS Papers. Y'all know who that wrote that book?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing. This is back in the 90s. So, I'm a jock. I'm like, what is this? But they knew I always wanted to read. Man, I read the book, couldn't sleep. She was talking about pool and golf and psychology and genetic fear. I'm like, what? Football. And then so after that, I went searching for Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing. And the first thing I saw was her debate that she did with what's the white boy's name? Oh man, forget his name. There you go. Embarrassing. So it wasn't even the information, because I really couldn't understand what he was talking about. It was her demeanor and his reaction to what she was saying. And she's a very, if you heard Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing, she's a very acutely, she's like a ninja. Like she was poking holes in them. And they were talking about the bell curve and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wow. And she said, yeah, she was very calm, and she told him, yeah, you're genetically afraid of our people because we're superior. It's like, how? What is he going to say? And he just turned red. That's it. He couldn't even respond. So I got that book. And then my roommate was an Orthodox Muslim. And we used to go back and forth to camp. We used to play ball and do other stuff that I don't do no more. All right? So, in the street, acting a fool. And one of his brothers who had just came home was working a security job. He had a black and red book on his desk. And I'm like, I've seen that man before. He's like, yeah, that's Elijah Muhammad. That's the man who taught Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan. He's like, man, take this book. And the book was The True History of Jesus, his life, birth, resurrection, and what that means to black people. Man, I read the book. I went the next day and spent like $700 on books. Literally. I got all of the Malcolm X speeches. I got all of the messenger books. I went and found Mr. Farrakhan books, I found some books for Father of Allah. I just had a whole bunch of stuff. And I stayed reading for the next 6 months. When I came out of there, I went from Marcus Ali counts to Chief Ali. It was over. It was over. It was curtains. But I'm saying that to say, as I was going through all the literature and I started, coming out to black organizations or whatever, something stuck with me that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. They were asking him a question at a time, the Nation of Islam had its own jets and boats, and they was, rocking it, doing stuff that we were trying to reaccomplish. But he said something that was interesting. He said, they was asking the question, who will be your successor and what will the nation look like after you're gone? He said, I don't have a successor. You see what I'm saying? He said, I was appointed to do my work, and whoever comes after me, that's their business. But he said, I don't think that we're going to be in churches and mosques after I leave, because that time will be up. He said, the duty of black people is to form a government. And once I heard that, it was over. In my mind, I like black organizations. I think it's a great thing. But I think that there's a new mold that is present. All of us should be striving for our human rights, and we should know what that means on an international platform. And it doesn't mean that we all have to join the UNIA, the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Science Temple, or ARNA. It means that we have to share the formulas that can allow for us to get to that level of human rights and learn how to set up our business structures and everything for autonomy for our people. No more goddamn vaccinations. No more goddamn birth certificates. No more goddamn stuff that we know that has been pulling our people down into the pits of hell. If we have things that are for our people, even if you don't like Ali Muhammad, even if you want to do a damn YouTube video on me, I don't care. I'll forward you the vaccination form tomorrow. Because none of that means nothing to me. The only thing that means something to me is our people being free and feeling good about being free. Everything else is insignificant. I don't want to talk about your God. That's your private business. That's your personal right. God damn it, if you worship Satan and you want to be on the side of the people for liberation, sit in the chair. Let's go. Don't mean nothing to me. All right? If you want to worship a goat, I don't care. Ain't got nothing to do with that. All right? I know black people, when they start eating right, they gonna come to their senses anyway. You know what I mean? And if you get around people that actually show you some love, all of the falsehood just falls off. So this is a project. This is our project. We just moving people, like I said, we're moving chairs. But this is our project that we're offering to our people. We're saying you have to be informed in order to move today. The world is filled with information, but it's also filled with confusion. It's so much information that you'll be all over it, all right? And end up following some stuff and thinking you're from a planet from another solar system or something. You haven't even learned the plant that grow in your front yard. You follow me? So we're here. We're not going nowhere, and we're going to press the margin. For the satisfied Negroes, we're going to press it. For the people who just trying to run the same old psychology on our people, we're going to press the margin. And we want all of us to have that same spirit. Because guess what? If you pay attention, all of your answers are coming out of the wombs of the black woman. All of the answers for how to win, how to do contracts, how to figure out what white people stole from us. It's all here now. All we have to do is find structural ways to get us to organize. So we want to open ourselves up for questions for you. All right? You can stand up. Let's do this, because we got loud voices. Y'all come on up. Ask any question that y'all want. If we don't have the answer, we'll be here next Monday. So we can use this mic here, and we can form a line. Come on up, yeah, get in line. Come on up, form a line. Or however y'all want to do it. Any questions? Oh, excuse me. Am I doing something? You want to take a break? No, yeah, you do want to take a break. Yes. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a little 5-minute break. Matter of fact, let's do this. Here's the rules in the break. Greet 3 people that you don't know. Share your name, tell them where you're from, why you came to class, 3 people. Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
Everybody greet 3 people that you don't know, share. We got food here, we got documents, we got books for sale. I don't know if there's anybody else outside or whatever, but greet 3 people. We got security up here so that everybody don't run up front. You know what I mean? To disturb everybody. We're gonna mingle with everybody up here. And let's take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back up and we'll do the panel discussion. Can we do that? Great. Question that you got. Yo, I'm in a court case right now, and that is going on. What do I do? You know what I mean? Ask the hard questions. Anything that we can answer, we will answer. Yes, sir. Come on, brothers and sisters. Let's make our way back to our seat. And we're not the only ones answering questions, because that's not how our class runs. A lot of our answers are in the audience. So, facilitate. I think you're ready. Come on, brothers and sisters. Let's get back to our seats. Come on. I know y'all got questions. You gotta have questions. Is there going to be a female president in the next election? Is the United States about to suspend its constitution? I don't know. Is Russia going to war with the United States? Are they going to try to assassinate Robert Mugabe? Because he wants to call for the United States to back. We need a security team. There's a lot of stuff going on the planet right now we need to be aware of. So any question you have, it can be about media, it can be about any of our 12 ministries, it can be anything. Let's get these questions rolling. Are y'all ready, brothers and sisters up here? Y'all ready? All right. Y'all ready out there? Don't y'all want to ask any question that y'all can? Y'all heard all kinds of stuff about nationality, about this, about that. Questions? Begin.
Peace. I might ask questions later on tonight, but this is the first that comes to my mind.
You can ask multiple questions.
What is the proper protocol for traveling abroad for a national?
All right. Right now, ARNA does not have a team that it can attach if you're stuck in Saudi Arabia. We're getting there. So what we do is, when we don't have a procedure, we use the one that is there, all right, because we are considered nationals of the land. We have allegiance to the supreme law of the land, constitution, and treaty. So essentially, what you would be doing is, you'll be taking the correct documents to the passport office, right? If you already have a passport, and taking the name that you have, and doing what you consider to be a name correction on the document. Which, when you get your nationality documents, if you are John Jones, and you become such and such and such, that's your new name now. That can be reflected in contract, you can operate in contract with it, and then you can go back to places where that old name was. You know, if you want to do this in certain places, insurance contracts, other places, and use that authenticated document, all right, to make the correction. So you can have that reflected, and then if something happens to you in the middle of Africa, we're working on getting our team together, but you have to be extracted by the Department of State and other, entities that they use for those particular things. So we do use United States passports. If you ever got time, just go look at your passport, read it. It has the word citizen/national. And the determining factor are the documents that you use and how you fill out the application. Right? Because we tell on ourselves, or we make mistakes because we don't know how to engage in instruments, negotiation, and contract. So that's our specialization. We show you how to enter into these particular things without compromising your identity. Okay? And there's different techniques that other people use as well. But I and we do not advocate claiming your straw man in the conventional way you saw it on YouTube with Jordan Maxwell and all the other groups. We believe and we stand and we know that we are who we are, and we can enter any contract without defeating the status that we are operating in our body politics. So we do use United States passports as nationals.
Yes. My national honor, nationally jurisprudence, phase 1. My question is, what is Brother's patent in ARNA?
Everybody had a question? What is the rites of passage in ARNA? In 2010, we developed a rites of passage for the men and women. At that time, Sister Naima was operating the women's rites of passage, and then I was operating the male rites of passage. We were using the guards as the methodology to explore coming into the rites of passage. So everyone who signs up for ARNA, you are either on active duty or inactive duty as far as the guards are concerned or the security is concerned, which means that if we have nobody in the class, when you look at your protocol manual, you're supposed to know your 12 general orders and your preamble. The reason why you need to know that is because you need to know how to operate a meeting. If you are the only one there or there's only particular people who are there. So the rites of passage starts with the training from the Aboriginal guards for the men. And at a future date, because Sister Naima is no longer in that position, we'll find someone to implement the aspects for the women. We've been sending the women to Dr. Koswa Lisa Bree, who is our elder. She's in ARNA in Philadelphia. She has the Maya Healing Circle. And there's a few other sisters who are in ARNA who are doing specific things. But the rites of passage is designed for us to learn the training that is necessary as men to function optimally as men in our society. And the first steps are learning to protect our meeting structures, all right? Learning the systems of the general orders, which we took directly from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, from giving us the general orders that he gave to the FOI. We just made it fitting for ARNA. And that is fitting for the men and women. The rites of passage teach us what is our tradition when it comes to men and women, and how do we operate it in a real life setting in ARNA with, okay, I have to carry out this duty and function as a man, I have this slate of orders, and then we go through those particular things. And they're extended versions of that. We don't have the rites of passage manual online anymore. We took that down for the ability to download those documents and read them. There's a manual about 38 pages that shows you what we go through. And there's levels to the rites of passage. The level 1 is the Aboriginal Guard and security, and as you go beyond that level, you learn about the cosmological aspect, which is how the science of how we mate, how we do business, how we do all of those things using our traditional sciences. So those are the basic two levels to that. 2 levels to that cosmology side, and that's what we use. So once we upload that manual, you'll be able to see what we mean by inactive and active duty. Now, active duty security or guard would be for the ghost and whoever he has appointed here locally. That's active duty. You're learning how to search, you're learning all those particular things. Inactive duty is, I know my general orders, and I know if I get in a position like that, how to hold down the meeting, and I, at some point, may be called, okay, brother, we need to show you how to run a search procedure on a Monday night in the 6 to 7 o'clock class. You know what I mean? Once you call that active duty, you have to search that particular night. And then after that, you're back into inactive duty. So the idea is protect meeting spaces, take that same principle back to your home, and anywhere we're functioning, an ARNA event, or some type of operating activity, all the men and the women know how to secure the events and take those same principles into their home.
Thank you, sir.
Please. Mustafa, also there, international honor for people who don't know me. And my question is going to is, I would like to know, to veg back on what Brother V actually, I have 2 questions. One, veg back on what he actually, I fit your answer for people who already have an instrument from that jurisdiction. What about let's say the children who are born in honor, who do not have that type of, who do not have any instrument from that jurisdiction? For example, my daughter tried born and she doesn't have a birth certificate, she doesn't have any instrument. How can I get a passport?
Right. She should have an affidavit of birth or baptismal record.
Exactly.
Right, from ARNA. And the reason why that is important is because once we record the birth in our jurisdiction, that becomes a legal document that you can use if you want to interface with the passport office. You can use that document. The only other document that you must have is you must get a social security number. Now, people have problems with that. And my answer to that is the social security number is unlike the birth certificate. It's an account, you have a number, and it's a contribution-based thing when you become accredited. Some people don't want that attached to their Aboriginal name. I've been using it for years and it doesn't compromise our status, and I have proof through court cases to show that our social security number does not make you a fiction, 14th Amendment, or a straw man. There's debate about that though. I don't have to debate about that. So if you want to follow the procedure that we have, you would use your affidavit of birth, you would get a social security number, and then you can go to apply to the passport for a passport for the child.
And the second question is, do you see a future for our people here in North America? And I'm asking this question based on observation, and I observed the parasitic nature of our oppressor and looking at how powerful they have become because of their parasitic nature. And I, myself personally, see that we have to, at some point, remove ourselves from wherever they're at, period. So I'm asking, do you see a future for our people here in North America?
I do see a future for our people here in North America, but I do agree with you about what could only be described as the fall of America. It's happening. We've seen it, but we live here. So our perspective on that is we will be prepared for anything that comes upon us, which means we have to have the resources, we have to have the connections, we have to have the ability, if we wanted to leave this particular place, to do so. And there's no other project that I can think of that could prepare small or large groups of people to do such than forming body politics that can have those resources. So our future here, I think, is great in the sense that we can form something that can help our sustainability. But it also can prepare us where Robert Mugabe and the African Union says, listen, we got so-and-so, the lower part of Zimbabwe for y'all, which I want. We out.
Real quick, if I could, concerning your prior question, when Chief talked about needing to secure the Social Security number, one of the things I'm going to suggest, go to your protocol manual in the area that talks about the instrument and how to file your UCC-1. UCC-1, the purpose of you actually doing that is to take the Social Security number out of the jurisdiction of the United States and put it into ARNA. Now how that functions is totally different than if you were in the foreign venue. Does that make sense? So filing your UCC-1 and going through those various things that you need to do in your whole nationalization process is what really creates for you the backdrop to protect you in various circumstances. So don't ever be afraid of what you're doing. Always revert back. That's why we have this. Because it helps you better understand, why am I doing this? So if you really understand, why am I authenticating documents? Why am I now, going and changing, having my W-8 form? Why am I having, when I'm doing my I-9 form, why am I doing it in that manner? All these different things. Always come back to this. Read it. If you don't gain understanding through reading it, that's why we're here, to help you gain that understanding so that you can now stand on your square. Because what I'm finding is most people don't do this stuff because they have lack of understanding. And when you can't understand, you can't stand at all because you're confused. And what does confusion do? They say a confused mind does nothing. So let's go back to the basics and really to the foundation of why we do what we do by making sure we revert back to the very thing. This is our Bible when it comes to the nation. So let's make sure we go back to that. So just read over the UCC-1 information and really get a real good understanding. Like I said, it's really the thing that takes you and puts that number into this venue under ARNA so that as a nation, now you're protected.
And another point, just to add in for the technical people who have a pen out, if you look up 28 USC, section 1604 through 1611. 28, United States Code, section 1604 through 1611 is called the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act. And it deals with when you have a trust or instrumentalities that are in a foreign government, the assets that are attached to that are not, cannot be confiscated. And also you have, I'll say it again, yep, 28 USC, which stands for United States Code, sections 1604 through 1611. 1604 through 1611. And the other one is Title 8 of the United States Code, section 1401B. That also deals with aboriginal property being exempted from attachment or execution against it. And we need to not necessarily all know these particular codes because we learn these as jurists in the society, but we need to know that these things exist as a people, and these are some of the things that are the reparative action of why we are saying we have to be a part of a body politic and have a status, because these things apply to us when we're in that particular position. You know what I mean? And we can protect property, assets, other things that have been in our old name and move them into the venue of a trust, into our own ownership in the proper methodology.
So you see Title 18?
No, Title 8, which is United States Code, Title 8, Section 1401B. And also 28 USC, Section 1604 through 1611.
Please, this is the question from a brother. He's nationalized, but he's not in ARNA. He said, how did he go about a court order that he was issued because they're trying to revoke him off of a deed? And he's standing on his square to his national name, or national appellation, I should say, actually.
That's a very technical question. All right, so if we can work to get some clarity, because then anybody else can help us. We have jurists up here too.
Okay.
He's a part of a body politic. Do you know which one he's part of?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's all right. You can tell us.
New Covenant.
New Covenant. All right, so he's part of New Covenant. A part of New Covenant's responsibility is if they have a national who is in their status and he's a part of that body politic, that they just should have a procedure to show him how to file deeds, quit claims, whatever he's filing. So that's important, that there should be a structural dynamic. If there's not a structural dynamic there, then there's not a lot that we can say to him because we're speaking to another body politic. You follow me? But we can also speak to the rules. Simple rule is, if you have a deed on the property and it's in your name, it's your property. If there's equity or equitable claim by somebody else, then that is a matter of solving that either through administrative processes or judicial processes. You follow me? If it's already a judicial process going on and his name is on the deed in his proper name and they're trying to take the property because of foreclosure or other things, now you're dealing with technical remedy to that particular situation. You follow me?
All right.
So am I hitting on any points that are close?
Yes and no, because what happened is he's helping an elder, and the state wanted to take the property, so they...
Foreclosure?
No, it's not foreclosure at all.
Tax sale?
No, nothing.
Why they want to take it?
Because
Eminent
they're
domain?
just trying to get control of the park because somebody, I think it was a kid or step kid or something like that, they wanted the property themselves. Okay. So they reported something that was fraudulent. So the state is just saying, okay, there's so much confusion, and then they see that he's not a U.S. citizen. So
who's not a U.S. citizen? The person whose name
yeah,
was on the deed?
Brother, yeah.
Okay, so you got a family dispute over a property.
Yeah.
And then she
but
wanted...
they're not on it, but they took hold of her, over her, and he's still on the deed.
They took over her. What do you mean they took
In
over?
the sense, they put her in like
A home or something?
Yeah.
So they're an administrator for her, the position that she's in. He stepped in and did a process for her. Now they're saying, I'm the administrator.
He did the process, but they're just trying to completely wipe him out the whole time.
Right, because the family member wants to get the property
Correct.
as an administrator over the elder person.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so if she ever signed a document saying she's incapacitated and that person can represent her estate, that is the issue that is at hand. She has to consciously make a document saying, I revoke that. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're taking care of someone, you become an administrator, somehow it happened. It happened through a court order, it happened through a contract, power of attorney, something. Whatever the action was, that has to be attacked so that whatever she did privately can stand. You follow me?
Yeah.
Does everybody else in the audience follow me? You know what I mean? If you become an administrator over an elderly person, it happens through some means.
And if that person is saying, wait a minute, I'm not incompetent, I'm competent, I don't want this person representing me or over my estate, and I'm going to carry out my private business myself, then they can do that. If they don't take that step, then what the court is going to do is step in and say, let's trace this back to the original thing of interface between the administrator and the person that's incompetent or elderly. And if there's a document there where they turned over rights, then what they can do is priority of that document will supersede whatever is done after that. So now, if she changed over the deed to somebody, another party, it doesn't even matter if they say he's from another planet. The original contract stands, they have power of attorney, that deed is going to be considered void ab initio, void.
Because she's not in the right state of mind to even do that, so.
But is she presently on the deed?
Yeah, she's on the deed and he's on the deed.
So they're on the deed together.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, she's not in the right state of mind to make any kind of decisions. So.
If she's ever made one before, though, and it's a power of attorney somewhere, they're going to go based on that.
Okay. All right.
I want to make sure that the audience understands what we're talking about, because I know we're going kind of fast. But everybody who has a property, all right, if you ever become incapacitated and you make somebody an administrator of your estate through a document, all right, you can revoke that document. And then there's competency aspects to it, because if you don't have a nationality, then you're held to certain standards that are statutory in their jurisdiction. If you do have a capacity outside of that, then you can also invoke those laws that protect you, so that you can get out of that. Every contract is revocable, all right? Every negotiable instrument is revocable. And if anybody has a question, listen, I know y'all got some questions. Walk on up and you can ask whatever you fire away.
Peace.
Peace, God.
My question is in regards to my mom and my dad. Now, they looking to join, they familiar. I want them to get a chance to experience the magnetic analyzer. But that's not where my question is going. My question is going because, you know, us as a people, our main issue of the day is finance. So, my dad is a ex-military vet. My mom, she's disabled. You know, she had a situation in her life, she overcame it. Boom, so they want to know, by joining ARNA, does that affect her SSI? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they on the fixed income, so, you know, until things is booming, they want to know, does that affect them from receiving a SSI by joining ARNA and a VA, you know, support? So that was my main question. I always forget to ask, but it ding, and hit me, so that's what I'm going to ask.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. Any things that they were receiving in contract, let's say they did it, if they did a name change, right? They came to ARNA and they got the name change. All they have to do is communicate to that party that they have a name change with the proper documents, and they'll make that reflective on the Social Security card, and then they continue to dispense the funds to wherever they dispense them to, whether it's direct deposit or whatever, however they have the funds dispensed. So by becoming a part of ARNA, you can still function in society. There's some indigenous people or more that'll throw you out on an island in the middle of nowhere, nothing, and say, don't contract with nobody, just sit over here with your feds on. We're not doing it. You know what I mean? We have children, we live in a real life, and we understand that we are institutional building gradually to greater levels of autonomy, and that would be irresponsible for us to see people where they're at, and then they have no way of continuing to be able to maintain the resources that they have and then continue to build it. That's bad economics, you know what I mean?
What we all have to realize is once you've earned something, it belongs to you. And because you want to call yourself Purple King, Emperor Blue, it doesn't take away that you've already earned it, right? So just remember that if you've earned it, not taking it, if you've earned it, it's yours. And use that as your guiding thought going forward, you know. Or I have a degree from such and such place. You still have that knowledge and hopefully some wisdom from getting that degree. They can't take that from you unless they your brain, right? Same thing with anything else that you've already earned and already been told, and already demonstrated that it belongs to you. Okay.
I can speak on the veteran part as a veteran. You know, you go to the VA, all your paperwork, you just have to change it. And if your father is experiencing disability through the VA, he can also change the name. You do it, you just find the forms and change the name. None of the benefits will be rescinded. If he has 100% disability, he will never pay property tax ever. So it's kind of along the same lines of what we're doing here, but nothing will change.
Wow, this is great. Yes.
One other thing, Chief speaks about a lot of different treaties a lot of times. One of the things I noticed, I'm going to share with you from perspective of me watching. I watch a lot. One thing I noticed is people don't take notes. And a short pencil will beat a long memory any day. Okay? So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is, this point moving forward, always come taking notes, because you need to get away with the goods. Okay? Now there is a treaty that he talked about, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1787. How many of you read the treaty? Okay? Now that's not all of us. When he mentions the treaty, we need to read the treaty to gain understanding, so now it helps us to stand on our square. Amazing question. But the thing is, when you get to understand these treaties, then you realize that, as the brother so eloquently shared, is that nothing changes. You still, once the contract is there, you've contracted. Now how you implement that contract is what's key. And that's what we're learning on a consistent basis here. But make sure we're reading those treaties so that we can now answer the question. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Let me add something to that, because this is important. And sometimes if you go to another class, you will get spooked out about the treaties, right? So there's only been 3 translations of that treaty. The original one was done by a Jewish guy in 1787. His name was Isaac Cordoba Nunez. And when you go to like Avalon online, you start looking up treaties, you're going to see his translation. There was another German scholar in the 1930s who also did a translation of that treaty. His name was Dr. Snook Hergronge. The only other people on the planet that have translated that treaty is us. And we put the translation of the treaty inside of the book, Aboriginal Lost Heritage. It's in that book, on the e-book, and the yellow book that we sell with the Olmec on the front, the she on the front. So we have all 3 of those translations there. What's important about that treaty is that it's 3 parties to that treaty, all right? You had the Islamic polities of West Africa. So I was raised in South Carolina, right? And the largest slave port was Charleston, South Carolina. And you had companies like Austin and Lorenz who was taking their slaves all out of Senegambia. So when I did my DNA test, it came up Jollof. Jollof were a tribe in Senegambia of Muslims who were at war with some African kings in Benin and Europeans. So what they were doing? Putting us on slave ships, taking us to Charleston, dropping us off. So some of my ancestry got dropped off. My male patrilineage got dropped off there. But my point is we have a connection to those treaties. The only thing we didn't have was a body politic to express that. And we have the genetic base, the body politic, and the translation. And we have the original treaty, which was written in another language, which is a whole other part of the conversation. All right, so the last part of that is, the treaty was made between 3 parties. The terms that you'll see in it are the Christians, who were in the Estados Unidos, which is the United States, the Americanos, which were the indigenous people on this land, and the emperor of what we call Morocco. And the reason why that's important is because our people fall into 2 parts to that particular treaty and the application of that treaty. So when we're studying it and we start looking at these things, we need to know and understand the schematic of how these things only play a part when you have a body politic and a direct, what we call ancestry to these particular things, and we have those things. So as we mature in our use of these things, and then see how they're being used by some of us, literally in court to protect ourselves, then we can really understand being an African American means nothing, except you are the white man's slave. And if you're not going to deal with any aspect of your ancestry, culturally, spiritually, socio-politically, all this other stuff, it means nothing. And we have to educate a whole generation of people who don't understand that kind of talk, because we're supposed to sit in the back seat and not have any discussion and let, you know, these other people represent us. So that's there. Those treaties are vital and useful.
Thank you.
There's two books I would implore everyone in here to get if you have not received them already, in addition to Chief's books. One is an unabridged dictionary from anybody, Random House, Webster, anybody. That and some version of a law dictionary. We use Black's as well as Bouvier, but Black's is the one that everybody uses, the standard. And that way, when you see terms that you think mean one thing, you can look at what the dictionary says and then what their applications are in law.
Right.
Because they mean different things a lot of times. So, you know, we think that a moor is somewhere where you put your boat, when really it's talking about a group of people.
Right.
Okay?
Peace and thank you.
Peace.
My question is a little different. The truth is that we are all branches of the same tree. I am African. My name is Ruben Amalo, and I originate from East Africa, which is also far removed from West Africa, so that offers a whole different layer of knowledge. First of all, I must commend you guys for the amount of knowledge that I always find here. There's so much knowledge in this room, it's just unusual. Now, for someone such as myself, from the native land of Africa, or even people from the diaspora, either the Caribbean, Haiti, and whatnot, is this a transition that we can make? And if we can, what is the process of making that transition from an African who is either from the native land or from the diaspora who wants to become this family? Is that even open? And if it's open, what is the process?
Are you asking, you saying what is the process for you to become a nationalized?
Yes.
Well, the first, it's simple. The first steps are simple. And it's when you go to governmentreparation.org, it says the first thing you do is you listen to a 22-minute video of Ali Muhammad talking about nationality. Secondly, it's a test you take. And let me just state this, it's not really a pass or fail test. It's really getting you familiar, the person yourself, to what you're going to put your feet into. Everybody don't want to put their feet into this water. So you do the first thing, you look at that 22-minute video. Secondly, you take the test. Then when you familiarize yourself with that, then you get 2 passport photos, IDs. To join ARNA is $360. So I suggest that you get 2 post office money orders, one for $300 and one for $60. Okay, and then you send that in. Once you get your documents and your paperwork, then we'll carry you from there. So that's the first step you do, is to look at the video, then you take the test, and if you think you're ready yourself, woman or man, and then you come on in, and we'll take you from there.
Yeah, so all of our family on the continent is welcome. Basically, that's basically what we're saying. Yes, emphatically yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Real quick, because I know the part of his question. It's the details of the way here. It's more so, I think, if I'm correct, are you speaking of if you're coming here and you have not yet obtained citizenship, or you have?
Either or, because, either or. So what if you just came in here and you're in the process of transition to be American, or if you're already here and you're not American yet? There are different dimensions to becoming, being part of this family or not.
Yeah, well right now, usually when someone is coming over, they're seeking citizenship and accomplish it, or they are on a green card, or they have a permanent resident situation going on.
Right.
If you accomplish permanent residency, pretty much, or naturalization, it's a cut, clean, easy process. Because we don't have to start a war with immigration. Not even a war, paperwork. All right? If you haven't accomplished those things, then we can still do something for you. But I would say, based on the jurist that's doing it, it's a case-by-case scenario to look at all the particulars of where you're coming from, specifically what nation, and what documents you've already done, what procedures you've already done with an attorney. You see what I'm saying? We need to take a full intake on that. The permanent resident card, you already got the nationalization. We already know what to do with that and how to take you through the intake process to undo whatever was disadvantageous with that and get you operating. But with just a green card and scenarios and situations, there is some investigation that is necessary to look into it. And the person that's nationalizing you can usually be a jurist, and they can point us to this cabinet or to jurists to specifically look at your situation. Because when you start looking at these situations, we got two things going on. I want everybody to understand this. We are young, right? So we are not only dealing with the technicality of the law, we're dealing with the technicality of strategy in interfacing with agencies to protect ourselves, all right? So it's a little bit different. If somebody's from Belize, it's a little bit different than somebody from the continent, all right? So we have to know scenarios and situations when there is no permanent resident card and no naturalization certificate already issued. If they only have a green card or something of that nature, and then they're here and they're deportable. But there are many techniques that are available simply by terms, and this is why what he just said is ultra important. And I'll just use two terms so people can understand these two terms. We often hear the words immigrant, and we often hear the words alien, right? You ever heard those two words? Okay. You can take immigrant and apply the word alien to it, and they can marry. Or you can take the word alien and say, no, I'm not an immigrant. And the difference between the two are documents. I'm going to repeat that again. You can be an alien and not have done any of those documents, the people who they're trying to identify. They're calling them now illegal aliens, right? And they're saying they're coming across the borders and they're doing all these particular things, all right? And what we're saying is they may not be immigrants. An immigrant is someone who has had permission to cross the border and has some type of document saying, I'm coming from somewhere else and I'm deportable. Immigrants are deportable in some terms if they don't do something like we're talking about. Aliens are not necessarily ever deportable if they don't have those particular things. So we have to look up the words just for our understanding, because if you're talking to me and I'm in the room, that's what I'm going to be dealing with. I'm going to be dealing with where'd you come from? What country? When did you first enter the United States? How did you enter? What documents did you use? And then we would go from there to make a concerted effort to say, yes, 100% we can, or yes, 100% we know, and it'll always be one of the two. It would never be a 50% scenario, you know what I mean? It'll be like, yep, this is something that we can definitely do, and we can guarantee success and non-deportation, or brother, we can't help you right now, come see us in 5 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the reality of the situation with that. There he is.
Peace. How are you? All right, my question. If we are not a slave, but we are free, if we are actually, truly, and genuinely free, and we know the citizenship kind of like rebondage you into the straw man and that whole corporate status, if we disconnect from our citizenship and connect with nationality, and we do our nationality, why is it that we don't create a treaty from this status of ARNA? So at the very least, if it gets kicked back, or it doesn't happen, or it gets rejected, at least we have a record of an attempt to actually make our own treaty, as opposed to piggybacking off a treaty that existed when ARNA was not around. So we're piggybacking off a treaty that we were not under. Why don't we attempt to do a new treaty with the corporate venue, so that based on that treaty, then we can actually use something that's active and now alive. Even if it gets rejected, at least we give a gallant effort to put that treaty forth. So why we don't have an effort to put a treaty forth?
All right, I'll answer the second part of the question first, because you don't answer the first part. ARNA does not give you your nationality. Pay attention to what I'm saying to you. ARNA cannot give you your nationality. If you get this, you will understand what a government really is. A government comes to guarantee, secure, and protect rights that you are born with through two terms, just solely, Rights to the soil, just solely, rights by bloodline. So when we say we are Aboriginal Americans of Moorish descent, that's based on bloodlines. That is identifiable. Just like I took my genealogy test, that's real. All right? So anybody can argue with me about what applies to ARNA. As an Aboriginal American of Moorish descent, everything that touches on Aboriginal and Moorish descent applies to you. The problem is the psychology of the African American or people who don't understand the principles of law and nationality. And that is a scar on our brain that we just have to continue to educate. So, as someone who knows that, what do you do now? You say, I want to participate in a body politic that is designed with institutions to protect that nationality that I've become aware of. So we're not using treaties that don't apply. We're actually using treaties that do apply, they just don't apply to Negroes. Clear? So now, the step to do a new treaty with ARNA and the United States of America, that's an offer. In my particular capacity, I have no desire to do that at this particular point. At a future point, when certain things are in place, it would be good to do something, not necessarily even a treaty, as a first step, because that's a large step. Other things to be put in place to guarantee and secure protections through various branches of government who have a duty to do so would be the preliminary steps to get to a treaty. And understand why treaties are made. Treaties are made through power. So if we have a fist and they have 1,000, we're going to save our fist to swing it to knock somebody out. Not to miss and fall on our faces. Strategy is different than knowledge. All right? So when we go back to the issue of citizenship, it's a misunderstanding. Bring your best scholar, get Sarnetta, get all the people, and bring the mayors, whoever, and prove to me that we're actually citizens. Bring the document, bring the affidavit, bring the instrument that made African Americans, Puerto Ricans, any form of indigenous people going by a misnomer, citizens. I'll put my head on the table for you to chop it off. The fact is, one, you can never be a natural born citizen. It's impossible. That's why they made the 14th Amendment. The second issue is, the 14th Amendment never said we're making African Americans, Puerto Ricans, Indians, nobody's citizens. Read what it says. It's an offer. We believe through tacit and implied contract that when we get a birth certificate, and just because we are born here in our mind is the United States, which is not even the United States right now, in the sense of contract. So all of these layers of confusion are part of what allows us to believe things. So we're not citizens. We've never been citizens. That's why when people come into ARNA, they don't have to expatriate. What would you be expatriating from? Because you've never been a part of anything anyway. What you do become a part of is a body politic, and we make it clear what your ancestors were interfacing with the United States of America. So let's take it back. If the 14th Amendment is being offered to us as citizenship, what was the identity of our people when they were fighting in the Civil War? What was their citizenship then? What was it in 1865 when they said that they freed the people who were enslaved? What was it then? What was it even after the 14th Amendment? The only status our people have ever had is nationals, because we allied in allegiance to help fight a war for this nation when we were aliens. I'm going to say it again. We allied with them to fight a war when the Dred Scott case said Aboriginals, Negroes, peoples of African descent, none of y'all citizens. So the belief is that the 14th Amendment overturned the Dred Scott case. The reality is it was an offer for you to believe that you are a part of something that you've never been a part of it. Only thing you've been doing, or we've been doing, is operating in contract out of ignorance. And because we are here now, right, and we start these contracts, we become economic and financial subjects. And that's all you're doing. The European is only doing commerce. He's not doing anything with law. He's offering you something, he's charging you, and then you pay or you get a benefit. And that's all he's been doing. It's financial. So that's why the birth certificate doesn't say you're a United States citizen. It identifies you with the state of New York, which is a business, with your parents under their fictitious name, which is a business,
and you pay $5 or $10 to get that contract, which is business. So a part of ARNA is creating the legal institutions, the lawful institutions, so that we don't have to believe that we've been citizens, that we've been all these other things. And then the education is great, but it doesn't mean anything if people aren't participating in the institutions, going through the rigorous process to make something that is a thought a reality. So now we need more jurors. We need these particular things because now we can explain these things and then we can make them workable. You know what I mean? So that is the scenario. We don't need to be doing treaties with the United States of America right now because sometimes we want to do big things and we haven't even taken little steps. So in my opinion, because I'm in the capacity that I am now, right now, to be the orchestrator of that, I wouldn't do that right now because it's not wise. If Obama said, listen, we want to sign this treaty with you, I'd be like, get back at me. Yeah, get back. What kind of treaty are we going to do and what's our benefit? What are they going to get from us? They're watching us right now. They know what we're doing. You know what I mean? They're spying on me. All right? So, I'm not in jail. I've been studying this stuff for 15 years. And the reason why is because we took the baby steps. 8 years is not a long time for me. I've been doing this for 8 years. And I'll continue to do it. And I know it's still young. Some people come in, I've been in 3 years. Oh, they ain't doing nothing. No, nigga, you're not doing nothing. Right. And you think 3 years is a long time to start a government when you're coming from completely blacked out of your own culture? So it takes time with these things, but I would challenge that the treaties do apply. I don't think we need to do treaties right now, but we can in the future. We can take certain international instruments and enforce those things that are already on the books, and we don't have to leave citizenship to become nationals. We were already nationals and we didn't know it.
Just to get an idea of what the end game would look like, just to get a blueprint, if you will, since we're doing baby steps at this stage in our development. If we did create an environment conducive to the maturation where we could have a treaty with the United States of America, how would you envision it look like? What does a treaty with ARNA and the United States of America, how would that look like? If you could just throw out some ideas.
I don't even believe that the United States of America will be here. We'll be here when they're gone. Right.
So the treaty won't even happen.
So what? We just doing business.
But my question is engineered. Let's just say the U.S. is here. And we have the jurors. We have everything in place to have this treaty. How would it look like?
I don't know. You have to ask my great-great-great-great-grandson.
Oh, you see,
I'm not even focused on that.
You see that far into the future if that were to ever happen?
It could be.
Years from now.
It could be. But on this point, I think that the point that I'm trying to make is really clear.
So then what is the purpose of a treaty to begin with then? If you were to have a treaty, treaties give you access to what kind of abilities or what kind of...
Economic benefit.
Exactly. And that's the
I didn't
point.
hear his answer.
Economic benefit.
It's an economic...
So go ahead. So in terms of what something would look like, we'd want it, in theory, to look like the relationship with China, where you don't mess with them because they make everything that we have here. The computers that the parts for our cars, the pieces of furniture. So we want to be in a position at some point in time where we're not bothered with. Excuse me. I talk really low because I don't like people to hear what I'm saying. I like the person that I'm talking to hear what I'm saying. So what I said was we want to be in a position that we are essentially China, where they will commerce with us, and we have a relationship based on economic benefit from both sides, right? And that's all we want. We don't want to mess with your system, leave our system alone. We won't bother your people. You don't bother our people, period. So to answer your question, what does it look like? That's what it looks like.
So to be clear, let's just say the United States of America has fiat currency. They use the debt system instrument, the dollar bill, the $5 bill. And let's say we wanted to create our own ARNA bill, right? With our own instrumentality. And because China has their own instrument, their own monetary system, and they have conversion tables between what is a China dollar and what is an American dollar. So let's say ARNA wanted to create their own currency because they see the way that the US dollar works with all the inflation and the way that dollar depreciates. We don't want to deal with that instrument because it's too toxic as a currency instrument. We want to create our own instrument. if we did a treaty, can we do something like that where they would understand that we have our own, because China has their own monetary system.
When that time comes, but we gotta get there.
And that's hundreds of years in the future, you said?
It could be next year, we don't know. It just depends on how much work we can get done. That's something that we'd all love to happen, but it may not be something that's important to the vast majority. Because people today, they're trying not to have parking tickets, BS parking tickets. They're trying not to get pulled over saying that the IDs that they have are fraudulent. They're trying not be able to get their social security card or number switched over to them. So what you're talking about, why it's important, it's not a necessary step to what we're trying to do. Like Chief said, we're at baby steps. So we got to think about what we need to do tomorrow and next week for what we need to do next millennium. So
It sounds like, well, I could be wrong. I know I could be wrong, so as I pose this question, I know I could be at fault. But I always looked at long-range comprehensive planning as a science and an art, not just look for tomorrow or next week, but have a 30-year plan. And listen, maybe the plan don't come to fruition, but at least you have some form of plan. I used to play chess at a high level, and we always planned every move. We had 15, 20, 30-move plans. So it sounds like, in this case, the best thing to do is suspend the long-range comprehensive plan.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I said I could be wrong. I just said I could be
I'll
wrong.
give you an example, brother. We have dimensions that we're not even mentioning right now, and we don't think it's important to elaborate on all of those things.
There is
Right.
long-range comprehensive plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your answer, Jim.
we have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So then we speak of treaties, right? The Chief said we don't have one. So what we should know is what is an Aboriginal government. That's what we should know. That's what each national should know, and who want to partake in becoming a national. So check this out. An Aboriginal government is a government that operates off of natural law, and therefore is a government of peace that maintains justice, peace, justice, and truth. There's no homelessness in the Aboriginal government. There's no poverty in the Aboriginal government. There's no famine in the Aboriginal government. Our number one purpose is to share, okay? There's no crime in the Aboriginal government. There's no abuse in the Aboriginal government. It says we have to move toward this nation as this natural law operation. They are non-national Aboriginal people operating or representing in the Aboriginal capacity in the Aboriginal government. There is divine order. There is divine order, again, in Aboriginal government. There's no proper peaceful relationship between men and women in Aboriginal government. A healthy family is the root. A healthy family is the root and axis of Aboriginal government. The 5 pillars of ARNA are the root to a successful national and nation. Successful family and successful nation. I said this, my apologies for repeating. Aboriginal government, we must have an historical knowledge of the existence of, as a nation, the language, the systems of law, cultural practices, and what causes our decline. Natural government with functional councils and departments, a constitution, a military, a landmass that the indigenous people will have, a system of laws that is absolute in character, a system of laws that is absolute in character, a gross domestic product, and Aboriginal courts. So while we're trying to tell them nothing disrespect about a treaty, but we should know what an Aboriginal government is.
Real quick also, when you begin to speak about a treaty, you have to think in those steps that we're talking about first and foremost. Any nation begins from an economic base. Can we agree on that?
No.
Economics, if you don't have economics, you cannot have a military without economics, you can't have any type of government without economics. So one of the main things...
What about if I disagree with you?
You can disagree, but let me finish before you...
Because I disagree partially, but I know what he's saying.
Because he asked the question, do we agree if it starts with economics?
So here's the circumstance. Looking at the fact that we need to first come together and create our own banking system in order to have our own currency. That's what I was speaking to, because you said about having our own currency. Well, first, before you can even begin to have your own currency, you can't just create a currency and begin to operate within your own communities because you don't own anything in your own community. And I'm speaking of the diaspora of people. We had places like Durham, North Carolina. We had places like Rosewood. We had places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and various other venues that they don't talk about, like Little Senegal that was right here in New York. That is actually Central Park. A lot of different villages that we had where we had our own economic bases. And what they did was come in with military and destroy those cities. They bombed them. They pumped in drugs. They did a whole bunch of things to create destruction. So one of the things that we have to do is first and foremost secure our economic base so that we can have a military base so that we can then consistently build those other areas. So then once we own land and we're coming together, we have our own companies and things of that nature. Now we have some foundation to flow from. Now the treaties that are presently in existence, they're good enough to support where we're growing to. Once we get to a level beyond those treaties, then it may be necessary, but presently it's not necessary to look at a treaty because we're not even at that level, if that makes sense. So that's why, you know, when we're looking far off, yeah, we can look far off, but we haven't even developed the here and now in order to get to the point of needing to create treaty.
I understood their answer when they said that it's baby steps, and I can appreciate that type of answer. My only, I don't even know, because I don't believe in being confrontational. I believe in just answering questions, because I don't think anybody's above questions. And if I have something I don't understand, I just want to ask that question. So the question I don't understand is, from my understanding, as long as I've been here, the number one thing in the first step is culture. Culture comes before economics. Economics comes after culture. And from what I understand is when we deal with cultural paradigms, the biggest difference, Ali and Enki had a tour on the genetic fear of a black planet. And in that tour, he showed a diametrical difference between two various groups of people. And when you integrate those two people, you actually cause disease for one and wealth for another. So to try to get into that, it's about culture first. So what I understood from the answer is that we have to reestablish our culture, understand our culture, harness that, then build an economic infrastructure, and then when we have those two married, then go to treaty. That's how I understood it.
I don't think that is separate. When you start thinking in segmented ways, I understand you have a chronology and that's important. But if you pay attention to what Jawad read, that is the chronology. See, economics is a culture within itself. It's not something distinct from the culture. Spirituality is not distinct from the economics. That's why we said laws of an absolute character. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about perception. If I understand that usury is, you know, something that we shouldn't do, there's layers to understanding why. There's a spiritual, as well as an economic, as well as a cultural, as well as a social phenomena, all present in the now of that particular equation. So I think what Brother Troy was trying to say is, oftentimes we negate the reality that a certain type of economic foundation is necessary, and we start segmenting into, we need to focus on spirituality, not economics. And the economic person says, you ain't got no money. And then they all argue because they all really don't understand. They really don't. They don't get it. So what we're saying is, the genesis of an Aboriginal government is the whole ideology in sum. So when you stood up in classes and you said those 12 ministries, you understand that that's a circle. It's not a dot. It's not a square. It's a circle. So the Ministry of Economics can't function without the Ministry of Justice. Can't function without the Ministry of Education. Can't function without the Ministry. They all go together. So understanding the wholeness of the universe, we don't have a solar system over here dribbling basketballs and then the galaxy over here saying, I ain't got nothing to do with y'all niggas, I'm taking a break. It doesn't work like that. The sun is not saying, I need to focus on heat, and earth, you can focus on spinning. No, they do it all the same together because it's understand it's immutable laws that connect it all. You see what I'm saying? So that means you're right, that means he's right, that means he's right, that means we all right.
Also, I want to say that one of the things that with Nelson Mandela, they gave him a title, but no money and no weapon. So you're looking at culture and economics, but you're looking at a failed system.
You should have listened to Winnie.
And he forgave everybody except her.
Think about that.
I wrote a song called Life is So Simple. And last week, I said that I was going to bring my guitar today and play that song. But because of what is taking place today, I said, you know what, I'll just not bring it in, maybe next week. In the song, the verse goes like this. It says, life is so simple. Somehow we complicated it. Instead of living in peace, we rather engage in war. Living for today and not tomorrow, violating the Most High's law. My question is, I'm going to veg back again on what the brother said, dealing with the treaty, because at the end of the song, what I said was, let us create a treaty, let us create a treaty. But in my mind, the treaty is not with that jurisdiction, the United States. I don't want to deal with them outside of what I already have to go through already. So my treaty concept is among the different organizations and government that are attempting to answer the denationalization and the genocide that occurred to our people. My treaty concept is among those organizations. Why can't we, if we at this time, 2015, if we know the answer, and I've looked to a lot of organizations, to my knowledge, ARNA have the strongest foundation to answer the problems of our people today. And if we have these answers, why can't we, or how can we get a dialogue among the different organizations that already exist to say, all right, this is the process to answer these problems, to answer these questions that our people are having. Because when I look in the community, I get frustrated when I see different organizations, and this organization may be doing something opposite to that organization, and that organization is doing something, and nobody is really getting along. And I get frustrated with that, and a lot of times I want to voice my opinion, but I'm not in a position where I can voice my opinion where it's going to be effective. So I say, you know what, I need to stick to the music, because this is what I can do. Because I get angry, and sometimes I feel like doing, let me not get into that, but this is my question. Why can't we, if we know the answers to answer our people's problem today, get a dialogue? And the closest debate, because the debate is becoming very popular in the so-called conscious community today, and the closest that I saw, and it did not even happen, was the debate between yourself and Polite, Brother Polite, and it was the second part of the debate. Do you remember the title? It was
on nationality.
Right, and that's the closest I've seen it come, but it didn't happen how I envisioned. What is, do you have an answer? And do you understand what I'm saying? Because I try to...
Yeah, I feel you 100%. Let me say this, brother. It's happening, and it's going to happen. It's just sometimes you're looking at something, and you have the feeling of frustration of wanting to see it form to a certain point, and it's not there yet. My father, when I was young, he used to take me out in the backyard. I'm 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Get down, do push-ups. Run around the backyard. Why am I doing this? You know what I mean? Hit this block. Do all these things. When I was 7 years old, I wasn't even playing sports yet, and he was already doing these things. I didn't know. I thought the nigga was crazy. Like, man, this dude is abusive. I'm going to my mom like, yo, son, did you see me running out around that backyard? Like 20 times? All she did was, here, drink some lemonade. So they knew, because they could see further. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is, sometimes some of us in the community can see further, and we do the things that may look like controversy, whatever, but it's coming to a point. Now, everybody's not going to cross the bridge. That's just the reality. But the best thing is, in reality, we only need a few. We want everybody, but we can't get everybody. Our work is, we master something, we share it with the community. They can go on our website right now and download documents that we took years to develop. They go out there and play with it a little bit. Some of them have re-put their name on it and say, I designed it. Who cares? People come into the organization, they take the law masters, they go and they got all the documents and books, then they go create their own course. Damn, Ali, you seen that nigga jack your stuff? Who cares? I'm way smarter than them. In that sense. And then there's other people who've been smarter than me, elders, who showed me the same techniques. So this is about destiny. And the destiny is, we are uniting and we are going to unite. It's happening. But as we move further, there are more requirements to meet the obligations. If you leave here and you ever heard me or anybody teach about health and you get a hamburger, you broke the obligation. Because niggas who eat cheeseburgers can't unite. Thus, take a litmus test of the debates and you can say 700 people showed up, 70 of them got some sense. Right? We can take that 70 and do a lot and move the other 630. Right? Because wisdom can move ignorance. Ignorance can't move wisdom. You follow me? So keep having that feeling, because I got that feeling too. And you know what I do with that feeling? I just put it in action. Like, I'm mad as hell, niggas don't listen. I'm going to do something. I'll get their attention. You know what I mean? Let's debate polite. Damn, niggas coming out, 500 people. Oh, Ali, don't do the debate. Oh, Ali, you should do the debate. I listen to them. There's been times where I said, you know what, I ain't going to do it. Sometimes I said, I am going to do it. So I listen to my spirit. Everybody in this room should just listen to your spirit. And if we want unity, just keep doing it. Whatever you're doing to contribute, you got music? Somebody listening. Your wife listening. Your baby listening. You already got unity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You accomplished the first step. Now you just take that and keep revamping. Sometimes, as you said when you came up, we make things too complex and difficult. The call for us to come together is happening. We all in the same rooms debating each other. We all on the same blog talk radios. We're all on the same YouTube. Only thing ARNA is saying, damn, can we own some of this stuff?
Exactly.
Amen.
Can we put some Aboriginal patents on it? You follow me? Can we be like China if we steal property? We already made every goddamn thing. Imagine if we had ownership. So now we got to learn. We learn how to own. What is the next 50 years going to look like? If we get another 2 or 3 George Washington Carvers, and they with us, the game is changing. You follow me? The fact that I was born with my name and you were born with your name and we are not doing what our parents did is the evidence that we're unified. What force is moving us? Same force that's moving the sun, moon, and stars. We're winning. We just have to keep winning. We have to keep transforming. When a challenge comes, 6 months health challenge, this kind of challenge, it's new information now. Now we got to step up. Everybody got to step the game up. You see what I'm saying? You was doing one thing one way, somebody pushed the edge. We got to keep pushing the goddamn edge. We had one understanding of more science. Now Ali is challenging over to Ali. Why? Because I know your ass gonna love. That nigga crazy. Well, I'm gonna listen. 50,000 views. Mission accomplished. Now I got your ear. You see what I'm saying? And you did learn something even if you don't like it. You see what I'm saying? So whoever it is, we all a part of an intricate entity that is immortal. And we moving in the right direction. All we have to do in our own space is really have the confidence that that is actually happening. Because the frustration is you want it to happen, but you know what? That same force in you is necessary so you could work it out in your family, in your community, because that's what drive is. You see what I'm saying? You got to get mad at this motherfucker to do something sometimes. You can't just stay calm. You know what I mean? And patty cake. So anybody who doesn't see what's happening among so-called black people in America is blind because the rest of the world sees it. They in London, they in China, and they watch Sinetta TV. Yeah. And we're talking to them. You see what I'm saying? So ask white people are black people unite.
Chief, let me say something. Let me say something to you, brother. Basically, Martin Luther King said he had a dream, right? And do you understand what he's talking about? The the dream? You ever took it into consideration and look it over and analyze it?
His specific speech.
Yeah, when he said he had the dream. Now, basically, like with ARNA, you have to have structure, right? And this is a structure here where the cabinet is formed. When the cabinet is formed, you know that you being a national, you're not alone in this fight. You have people you can turn to, and anytime you think you have a problem, no, you don't. You bring it to the cabinet. This is your family. Everybody's your family. But people try to take on things alone and make it personal. If you go there personal as an individual, they will just step right over you. You don't exist. So you got to have a group and a foundation in order to operate in this society.
Yeah, and one thing too, I worked with a lot of politics and political people. One mayor, I was in charge of the volunteers, and we had 60,000 people that showed up to volunteer. We need 60,000 people in here to do the work that you have to do. So every person has a part. If you look at my hand, my thumb has a part. I can't operate my hand without a thumb. You may think that the chore or the job or the assignment is small, but these 4 fingers can't operate without the thumb.
Right.
So we have to also look at the vision. The vision is here, the plan is here. We didn't gather the volunteers to get ideas about what to do. The potential mayor to be had a vision, and the people fell in line under the vision. So to know what the vision is, to do your part, to bring people here that you need, that you know needs help, is the beginning. We have to have soldiers on the. So going out to get people and lining up with the vision of the leader is the most important thing, because otherwise you're a distraction.
Exactly. Real quick, when it comes down to, I went to a lecture with Dr. Jewel Pookrum, and she spoke about this theory called the causative formation or third monkey theory. And basically what it says is when a group of people begin to resonate on one thing at the same time, at the same level, it automatically triggers that thought process throughout that entire energy network. So for us to be here, and we're resonating at this level. Where we're missing the mark is, and I'm going back to this because this has been beating my head over and over again, protocol manual. Most of us aren't following protocol. So the resonance, instead of it being here, the resonation is here. And so the spectrum of its ability to go out and reach is limited because of us. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is a couple different things. One, what does pressure do to a piece of coal? The more pressure, the more radiant, the more beautiful the diamond, right? So just imagine the intensity of pressure that had to be there for a gentleman to say, hey, I'm going to start a nation. You get what I'm saying? And so for us to now come together, now I liken looking at ARNA versus the other different body politics like red oaks. A red oak, have you ever studied the red oak? It is a magnificent tree. It stands extremely tall, and it's one of the oldest trees on this landmass. You can actually burrow through and create a highway going through a red oak. Different. It's okay to have a different body politic. The thing is that we're all going in the same direction. So what's occurring is that some of those impurities are being pressed out. You may see faces on the panel change because we may only be able to help you take you to one level, but then that next level is going to take the brother sitting right here that now understands and can take us to that next level. And so in order to maintain your space, you must always raise your level of leadership. And how you do that is by constantly studying, constantly reading, constantly applying it on a consistent basis. And last thing I'll share is when you look at that of the bamboo tree, when you plant a bamboo seed, it germinates for approximately 5 years in the ground before it actually shoots up. But once it begins to grow and you see it shooting up, it towers. So when you get to really understand how the inner workings occur, while it may seem like this isn't working properly presently, this is what's supposed to occur. Because we're still developing some of the root systems so that when the actual trunk comes up, it has such stability that it's unprecedented.
Very good.
Peace, once again, family. Now, I'm gonna do my best to formulate this into a question. My inquiry is mainly about the star and crescent behind you guys. Now, for a few folks here who came from various Islamic backgrounds, Nation of Islam, Moorish Science Temple of America, and they came to ARNA, and they see this flag behind them, and they see that, you know, this is something that's familiar to them. So my question is, how exactly is that the flag, well, the symbol for Ishgal, as you put it, and why that exact image, which is, it's so similar to the Nation of Islam's flag minus the, you know, justice, equality, freedom in Islam. And two, where could somebody take the genealogy test that you took?
Second question first. Genealogy test you can take at AfricanAncestry.com. Really simple. You go to their website, they guide you through that. If there are any other websites that somebody knows, then they can come to the brother and let them know. That's the one that I use. The flag. First of all, we haven't made this announcement formally, but we're going to change the flag. All right? Now, before we get into why we're going to change the flag, let me tell you what the flag represents. The flag is an ancient symbol. It's astronomy, right? So all the groups that you know about who use that particular flag usually have their origins on this side of the waters post-slavery with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He gave that flag Sun, Moon, and Star and talked about the astronomy of ancient, original people civilizations and why those symbols are important, and that's how we keep time and all those things. So the subsequent groups started adopting various versions of the flag. We kept studying, and what we found out is that, it's not a star, right? It represents an object, Venus, the planet Venus, right? So every time you see the five-pointed star in Samaria, Egypt, whatever, it represents the planet Venus, which, this is why we have to keep studying. Because in indigenous culture, this very subject is gigantic. Why was what we are calling a star associated with the moon, all right? So Ishgal. Ishgal is an ancestor in the She or Olmec Mayan paradigm. She represents births. Venus represents women. Got it? So women in births. And they used that image because it was a part of a rites of passage society, right? So I know that the original people who founded the systems in Sumer and Islam or whatever, they had that type of information. We don't today, right? So now we're looking in retrospect trying to find that information. And it's a beautiful chronology of history too. We could go on for 1,000 years about why Venus and the star and why it's important. But the immediate on-site is Islam, right? And we don't want that. So we changed it, right? And we changed it to something that has something to do with ancestry and is both strategic and further education, and it will secure the inability for people who have been in the private sector in media attacking us directly and indirectly, all right? Namely, the second heaviest stockholder in the Fox News network, who is a said Muslim and an Arab who pays high dollars for anti-Islamic media propagation. So we need to understand what has happened in America and where the eyeballs actually are. And why we can come and make a group for human rights called ISIS in 2005, and then you see ISIS terrorists. 6 years later. Follow me? Same thing they try to do to Black Panthers, same thing they try to do to the Nation of Islam in real time. So niggas stop reading books and open up your eyes. Because you in it now. Not nigga you, but nigga in the sense of how we use it in the street. Don't get disrespectful. I'm sorry, I'm from another generation. Alright? I mean that like, yo, wake up. You don't have to study this. You in it.
Oh, man.
We're in it right now. COINTELPRO still going on. White folks still here. We still here. We got a little bit smarter. We're going to try to move a little bit smarter. All right? So we changed the flag. Y'all going to see the flag. Basic solar symbol, ancestry. And we want to move strategically away from being associated with those things. All right? Not in the way of denigrating our ancestor, because we still going big up Noble Drew Ali, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Fannie Lou Hamer, all the people who came before us, they're ours. You're never going to get us to disconnect from them. I don't care what they called you. Because some of it you actually are, based on what you did. All right? And we're going to hold that stance. So if you see the Zulu flag, if you see the Moorish flag at a meeting, if you see this flag or whatever, don't mean that we're not keeping those things, but we got to be smart. Because we're dealing with how our people feel immediately when they see things. You follow me? And then they see Ali Muhammad, the ISIS terrorist, leading the nation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, I ain't coming in there, I'm Christian. You know what I mean? That nigga is Osama bin Laden or something. No, I'm not. I'm your brother. I grew up Christian too. I grew up Muslim. I found out they was lying in all of it. But then at the core of it, it's true. You follow me? So I'm with all of that. I'm not with none of that. One particular thing over the next. Jew, Christian, Hebrew versus Kemet. Please. Like, great debate, great debates, great. You know what? Let's pay those people to debate internationally. Let's just give them some better books so they can do a better job. Follow me? So we all in this together. The flag does represent something in Mesoamerica, calendars or whatever. We place that inside of our Constitution. You can go to the website and download that and look it up. But we is trying to stay progressive as possible, and we're trying to step through some of these landmines they land for us.
Greetings, Brother Salim. My question is always about finances, because that's how we're hurting out here. I'm a patented inventor. I can whip something up. We can make it on the market and sell it. But how do we interface with the big banks? That would be the Treasury and the Federal Reserve as a body politic and as a government. I know we get personal, we're supposed to open our own personal accounts, but I can't help no one with my personal account. But as a group, as a body politic, what I've been reading, I think we can mass financial instruments together and pool them like they do, or we need help, and I need some guidance.
So one of the things that we're working on is putting together labor opportunities for our partners. And to do that, we've already created a for-profit subsidiary that will be able to interface, that we'll use to interface with other groups, organizations, governments, as you will, without damaging our tax-exempt status, without even calling that into question. It's not an issue. So that's way number one. Two, what we'll also be able to do with that entity is create opportunities for someone that's in telecom, someone that's in finance, someone that's in some form of health management. Anything that you can think of that's taking place outside of this room, we'll be able to do through that organization, and each and every one of you will be able to participate.
Right, and number two, my second one is we have our goals up here, security. What is going to keep the corporations from doing to ARNA what they did to Dr. York, besides, the other backwash? But the feds came in heavy, and he couldn't seem to free himself out of jail. With all of the Moorish intellect that we got, no one could help him.
Right.
What will keep us from running through that?
Because I've been around those groups, and they confided in that as their power. We don't. We don't confine in documents as our power.
Okay.
We confide in the strategy, understanding the time, and taking the proper steps. See, you can go down and build pyramids in Eaton, Georgia all you want, right? And then you can come up and you can start your own Masonic group. And some of it, if you really pay attention to it, no matter how great that man is, he's great. I'm talking about Dr. York now, right? It all unraveled. See, we gotta have the hard conversation. It all unraveled at a particular point. And we can use different leaders to show different outcomes, not based on personality, strategy. Dr. York, as brilliant as he was, wrote 400 books, did all these great things, and has teachers out here today, and he should be commended for the greatness that he did, got in front of the European and begged not to be locked up. To the point that they tricked him, where he had wrote books about Leviathan 666 and said they was all these things, and he forgot that they actually were. And they tricked him, right, to confess to a crime, saying they was going to give him a shorter time. Then the judge said, you still got 3% nigger in you. I'm going to lynch your ass. And that's what happened. So now he confessed. And now they can make up all the reasons why he confessed. Put me in the same, because I ain't do nothing. You did it. As a matter of fact, my position is you did everything. I got all the proof, where I was, what I did. I don't care what you say. Step up.
Yeah.
Because if I got to go, I'm going to go with my soul, my spirit, and my integrity.
That's right.
And I ain't going to confess up in front of no devils that I did something that I know I didn't do because you offered me what? You can't offer me nothing. What can you offer me? You see what I'm saying? So, juxtapose that to an Elijah Muhammad. Why did he get assassinated? Oh, because he allied with the white man and he was really for white. Yeah, right. He used the strategy of, I taught for 20 years, 40s and 50s. Now I'm going to go get the young people. Here, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan. What did he do? He neutralized his own leadership and let them take the shine. And what did he say? Give me the ships, give me the planes. You follow me? Take some of that. Then take some of Dr. York's educational system, mix it together. Now you Superman. Take some of Noble Drew Ali's understanding of the fundamental aspects of nationality, even if we got to update it. Put it together. The advantage that we have over all the people that came over is we standing on their shoulders and we saw their mistakes. So if we make the same mistakes, it shows we're actually pretty unintelligent. You follow me? That means that we haven't learned, and we're actually not studying. We're studying them emotionally. You see? A Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. What you doing arguing in the public? Right? We had it with us. So-and-so arguing with Ali in the public. Y'all see the videos? All right? It's cool. You know, Minister Inky said, Brother Ali killed somebody with a agave nectar.
Oh my God.
Ali like this. I'm about to. No, I'm not. Hold on. Let me sit down for a minute. Let me see. So my point is, we learned. Somebody whisper in my ear, Ali, I know you want to. Chill out. Do it. You know what? And I know what? You know what I'm saying? Brother, you're right. And I don't have to listen. I could be an asshole. Right? And then go make the same mistakes. So all I'm saying is the guarantee that what we have is legitimate. And I don't want to throw him out there, but people all over the world call him for security. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So now it's a different dynamic. Because now we are meeting and greeting people and becoming a different type of entity than just local. You follow me? And then as the influence grows and we take our baby steps, then we will get past some of the mistakes and then we'll pass something on to our children and they'll get past. Go ahead, guys.
Excuse me, brother.
Yes.
You understand what you're saying, the problem with Dr. York, right? If you understand it, it was an internal. They got through internal. Now, with the security, they weren't really security, and why I say that, they had no non-disclosure agreement that I can hold you, you know, for what you say and what you do, because once you're part of the nation and you have a non-disclosure, right, you have to stand to that. That's like your word. That's like an oath. You never had that in in his family. So that's why they penetrated him, because they went straight through internally. They didn't come external because it was too much. But they work internal. They send people inside. And that's what we got to strengthen and look for.
One more person that was damaged internally was the Honorable,
Elijah Muhammad?
no, the Honorable,
Marcus Zygar?
yes, Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
One of the Queen Moore, the Queen Moore took him down. So internal operations is important.
Yes, and security and a financial institution. What is your site for that? I mean, security, so everybody gotta come to that door, gotta want some type of electronic thing, and if it beep, you step to the side, and the other than financial institutions, because no matter how much, if we're not building dollar bills, and we don't practice silver and gold, what are we doing?
Excuse me, brother. You see what happened now, seeing that we have the cabinet, ARNA, it's going to be a different restructure, like I said. Security going to be trained to handle these situations. So anytime there's a problem, whatever it is, we're going to come back and look at it and see where the problem is at, and basically try to correct it, right? Right now, like I said, it's a new structure, it's like a new cabinet coming here. We're going to take time to get things into play. But we are working on everything that you're actually thinking about. But thank you, I appreciate the feedback.
We just got the call, the Yankee sign. No, come on. If there's anyone else after him, stand up and we'll try to let you guys get out of here.
Peace, assalamu alaikum. I have two questions. One is piggybacking off the security aspect. I wanted to know that.
Veg back. Don't slop up in here.
Yeah, veg, that's right. That's right. I stand corrected. Thank you for that. I wanted to know, once because God wanted, inshallah, I want to, nationalize like in the next couple of weeks. I wanted to know in terms of security, will there be like any type of uniforms? Because that's one thing I noticed when I first came to the meeting. Was the security or the lack thereof, and though that's not my background, it is my training, coming from the fruit of Islam. So, it's something that I think is very, very important. What I'm saying? Having somebody or having brothers and sisters that are noticeable. Even if the enemy, if there's one or two enemies up here, they can see somebody. Oh, okay, that's the security right there. Let me stay on pause. Let me just watch. You know what I'm saying? So, is there any type of uniform? And if there's not, how can someone, become a part of that security apparatus? Because one thing that I've noticed, amongst our people, we always ask leadership, what are you doing, instead of what can I do? So how can I qualify myself for leadership? And, that's something that I just want to throw out to just anyone, nationals or not. It's not about, not saying that people shouldn't ask questions, but I think that sometimes the question should be, Sir, Madam Chief, what can I do? Because I see this problem, but what can I do to address this problem or to address this issue? And, as we're moving forward and building, always put yourself as the equation, as the answer, So that's the first part. The second part is Islamic, and I wanted to present this to you, Chief, is that, are you running into like a lot of turbulence from the Sunni Muslim community who may be watching you and see your name and like, yeah, this brother's, making some sense, but I'm not really, his Aqidah is off, you know what I'm saying? So are you running into that type of interference? Because, I was building with my Sunni fam last night, and like 2 nights ago, I showed them your stuff, they was like, yo, this brother's deep, but I don't know about his Aqidah, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? However, many of them, some of them actually went to West Africa as children, so they got in touch with that Sufi magic, if you know what I'm talking about. So they seen black gods working it, you know what I mean? So it's not too far-fetched. So I just wanted to get your views on that.
Want to get the security question?
Okay, I'll take the security question, brother. Basically, what's going to be done, like I said, some of it is under the security code, so we really can't reveal too much about what's going to go on. But you're going to see uniform security we can identify, and there's also going to be plainclothes security circulating. So I don't know if that addresses it. All right, and as far as, thanks for volunteering. So I'll talk to you after. All right,
Yeah, Islam, on the Islamic question, they will let Brother Arhenis come up, you gotta come up. Yeah, I do get it. You know what I mean? I get it in all kind of ways. I get it more from people who are Pan-African thought attacking, you know, what they would consider my personal version. You know what I mean? And it's not really my personal version, it's just, you know, study. So all I say to that, first of all, is la ilaha illallah. Like, that's it. That's my answer to those people. And they know what that means. Like, all right, fall back. Now, if we're going to have a discussion on history or other things, it's just a discussion. And I won't be one getting emotional. That's all I can say. Because it's there. And anybody who studies, you study, we come from the same, we already know. We already know what happened to them. You see what I'm saying? And we already know what happened to Christianity. We already know what happened to the Israelites. We already know what happened to the Mayadan group who following all these white gods and scholars. Yeah, we got all that. White gods meaning the scholars of Egyptology. You know what I mean? So our work is institutional, which means, just like you do it at Temple University, Columbia, Yale, we have a department, we have materials, and we have the discourse inside of that, and we bring the best information out to the people. And that's how we handle it.
Very good.
Peace, family. Peace. My name is Arhenis, and I'm just happy to be in the presence of you guys. And thank you for accepting me into the ARNA family, the Manhattan government. Thank you so much. I like to say, really nice suit. First off, man, we gotta get some pictures before we get out of here.
Yo, I have a story about how I got this.
Right, and I wanna, first I wanna thank Nia Reyes. She's from the Facebook group called the 6-Month Optimal Health Challenge. She actually came out here to help me with recording because I had prior arrangements before I actually knew about, well, before I committed to the actual, to do this. So thank you so much, Nia. And thank you so much, Olga, my sister, for recording. You know, she puts the pressure on Ali in the group. You know, she puts the pressure on everybody.
Beat you up.
Also, I want to let you guys know that I have a website called Ready for R. That's ready, the number 4R.com. And the brother over here mentioned taking notes. You guys can see the rebroadcast on my website, readyforr.com. I have business cards. You guys can check me. And
Technology.
Yes, take it from me. And again, I just want to reiterate, Nia's from, I know her from the internet. So, you know, let's utilize what we can to make ARNA better. I actually made an ARNA page for the Nationals on Facebook, whether you're in New York or Manhattan or the Philly area. You can all join it. It's called ARNA.
All right, there we go. All right, we're on.
On Facebook, I made a group called the 6-Month Optimal Health Challenge, and it features Ali Muhammad and it features George Best. They actually were competing for the best health paradigm on the planet. It's a raw fruitarian lifestyle, and we encourage everybody to embody the lifestyle because it actually helps raise the integrity of the people. Whether you choose Ali's paradigm, or you choose George Best's paradigm, or there's other people in there that are really, really smart, and they also promote their own health paradigm. I myself, I'm a raw fruitarian, and I just encourage health. You know, I encourage spirituality, health. I'm actually not on either side of the health paradigms. I just encourage brothers like Ali and George, even Inky. Much respect to you, Inky. Much love, actually. And you know, that's what we do. I encourage everybody to join the Facebook group, and you know, let's just build together. Whether you can actually change your health, it doesn't really matter. It's more about the education and inspiration. And you know, we can actually have a share of value. Whether you are Christian, Muslim, if we share that health, at least we have a real honest base that we can actually build on. Peace.
Thank you, brother.
Sorry.
Oh, wait, no, I got this.
Did I get you, did I get everybody?
All right, so we're pretty much done, brothers and sisters. Give yourself a round of applause.
All right. So next week, we will be right back in regular mode. Monday night, we'll be here, Nationals meeting, 6 o'clock. The non-nationals can come in at 7. All right. Is Brother Ankh still here? He left out? Well, I talked to Brother Ankh this morning, and what we've done is we're going to assume the leadership of New York for a period of time to get these classes in a better order and to allow for us to propagate the knowledge that the class exists, right, and help with the structure. So I talked to Brother Ankh this morning. He was cool about it, and he understood where we wanted to go with it. And we're doing this because we, working on retuning. You know what I mean? You go through things, you get more assistance, you learn, and you retune. So we will be here next week. You're welcome to come. We'll have food. We'll have a whole bunch of things. The 4th week of every class, we're going to not do a class, and we're going to do some entertainment. Hey, what? So yeah, so we have food, spoken word, a whole bunch of things so we can network, bring your business cards, and it'll be a live atmosphere where we have a lot of things, you know what I mean? So the 4th week of the month, if we have a 5th week, then it'll be the 5th week. And we'll tell you in advance, and we'll keep posted because we got social media, we're making the circles and everything so we can get everybody posted. Because sometimes everybody don't want to hear nothing about law and economics. You just want to sit down, have a smoothie, you know what I mean? If you ain't married, you're eyeballing. We can keep it upstairs though, because we got rules of courtship. How about that, right? You ain't leaving the club with nobody. You ain't that. All right, so yeah, we want to live. So invite your family out next week, all right? We'll be in the building. I'll talk to some of the ministers who are here. We can figure out, what subject we want to do. Email it out to everybody. Have it on the social media or whatever, and come out. And we're going to talk our way through this thing. We're going to link arms, share information, do it in study group session, because I told you I don't want to do lectures, I'm not interested. But we can circle up and do study group, and then have the books out, protocol manuals, talk about, identify this, let you ask questions, share, and do it in an atmosphere that is a lot more healthy. I learned that from being in the Nation of Islam. The study group was the night that everybody wanted to come out. They had this hot fire wisdom they wanted to drop, but it makes people feel like they're a part of the group. And that's where we want to move. So we'll be here next week. Thank all the brothers and sisters for taking the time, traveling from wherever they travel from. And we are done. Travel back to your destination safely.